Hello, good morning, students. I welcome you all to this new class, and we will continue to learn about the importance of resources, the importance of conserving them, because our future generation depends on how we use the resources at present time. If you lavishly use and finish it up, the development of the future generation will be at loss. They cannot do any developmental activities. So we need to live in the present and also need to think about the future generation and the development of the future. So let us see how to do the conservation of the resources. Conservation means preserving for the future. So let us see how to do it. So we know that resources are vital for any developmental activities. No, without resources we cannot think about any developmental activities at all. So you can follow it in your textbook as well, page number 4. So if you want to do some development, then some resource should be there. We can't make things from the air. So all the things are manufactured from the minerals and from other resources. So the resources are very vital for any type of development. But the irrational consumption, irrational means without reasoning, without proper thinking. So if you keep on consuming the resources without proper reasoning, without proper thinking, then what happens? It may lead to socio and economic and environmental problems. So it may lead to socio and economic problems. So there will be problems in the society. So some area they may develop very fast by using all the resources. Some other places it may continue to remain poor because they are not getting the resources. And also it may cause environmental problems because overuse of this utilization, there may be so much of factories, so much of pollution, and all this will have cause environmental problems as well. Therefore we need to use it in a very rational way, very planned way. Then to overcome these problems, so the problems of socio-economic and also the environmental problems, what we need to do? Resource conservation at various levels is important. We need to do conservation of resources at various levels. Not just national level enough, or just state level or village level is not enough. Every level we need to do this conservation. So it is a need of everyone, and everyone will have to give their level best in order to bring this, in order to avoid these problems in the society, in the environment, and so on. For example, and this has been the mass concern, the main concern of the leaders of the society and the thinkers. So people have been aware about this problem, that the way people use the resources, and if it is used in this way, it is heading towards which direction. Everything has been known by the people, especially the great thinkers, great learners, and so the philosophers and so on. And they have been aware about it, and they have been trying to make the people aware about the problems that we are going to face in the future because of our over-utilization of resources, because of our misuse of the resources and so on. So for example, the great Indian leader Mahatma Gandhi, he too was very much aware about the way people use the resources. And Gandhiji used to say about the need for conservation, and he was making a very famous statement which everyone accepts, that he says, there is enough resource for everybody's need. There is enough resource for everybody's need, but there is not enough for everybody's greed. So people are greedy People are greedy. So if you are greedy, then you are not satisfied. You want more for me. I want more for myself. So then others will not get it. So if everyone is satisfied with what is required for them and not collecting extra, then Gandhiji says there is enough resources are there in the nature or on the earth. But because of people are greedy, it is not sufficient for all. If people are not greedy, then it is enough. So that's a very famous statement and very meaningful statement by Mahatma Gandhi, that there are enough resources for everyone's need, but it is not enough for everyone's greed. So Gandhiji gives importance to needs and not greed. So everybody's need, it is sufficient, but not for greed. To satisfy everybody's need, there is not enough resource. But to satisfy everybody's need, there is a resource. Enough resources are there. Then Gandhiji placed the greedy and the selfish individuals and exploitative nature of the modern technology as a root cause for resource depletion. So you can underline that statement. According to Gandhiji, what is the cause behind the depletion of natural resources and at the global level? So he says three reasons. He says, first of all, the place of the attitude of the people, that is the greedy nature of the people. Then the selfish need, the selfishness of the people. So the greediness and selfishness, that is one reason. Then the exploitative nature of the modern technology. Another thing is the exploitative tendency of the modern technology. So the modern technology we know, it has been developed to produce maximum. The machines, the factories, all these are part of the modern technology. In olden times there was no factory, everything people were making by themselves. But now, because of the development of the science, the technology has grown so much and there is so much of development is there, and because of all that, the resources are overused and it is getting depleted, getting reduced more and more. So according to Gandhiji, he blames the modern technology and the greediness of the human beings, the greediness as well as the technology, that these are the causes why this depletion of the resources are taking place. And according to Gandhiji, he was against mass production and instead he wanted production by the masses. So this is mass production and another one is production by the mass. Can you say the difference between mass production and production by the mass? Here mass means large. So here the mass means large quantity of production. That is what is happening in the factories. They are not producing one or two items each. They are producing in a very large quantity, mass production. That is called mass production. So the things in the market, and so we find so many thousands of things are there. The same item you will find lot. The company does not make just one piece or two piece or 10 piece. They produce such a large quantity and distribute to all over the country or even abroad. So that is mass production. They produce so much. But instead, Gandhiji is saying that production should be done by mass. Here the mass means people. So Gandhiji says, instead of producing such a large quantity, we must give opportunity to produce for the people. People should produce. Here the mass production, who is producing? The machines are producing. In the factory, a lot of machines are there. That's why thousands or lakhs of things we are able to produce within no time, because the machines are very faster and they produce very fast. So, but when the people produce things, it will be slow and it will not be so much large quantity, and the profit also may be less. When people produce things in the factory in the large scale, in the mass production, then there will be lot of profit will be there, because the machines are able to produce so many things within short time and they can sell it and make money. But here, when the people are sitting and making money with their own hand, then the production will be very slow. Then what is the advantage? Why does Gandhiji say production by the mass and production by the people are important? Why does Gandhiji say? So here, when the mass production is taking place in the factory, very few people will get job opportunity. The machine will be making everything. The people will not have much opportunity, or people will not have much job opportunity. All the job will be done by the machines. But if we allow the production by the mass or people, then so many people will be employed. Instead of machines are working, people will be sitting down and working. And that way many people will get job, and many people will have some source of income. They will get salary, and so their family will be economically improving. So that is what Gandhiji wanted. So when mass production is there, the company owner and some other people, they will be getting a lot of profit, because all the works are done by the machine. They don't have to pay much salary to the staff. But here production by the mass means there will be so much of staff will be there and they have to pay money to them, and so the profit of the owner will be less. But so many people will be improving their financial condition. So Gandhiji was concerned about all the people of our country, not just making interest in making few people very rich and others become poorer and poorer. That was not the vision of Gandhiji. Gandhiji wanted everyone, especially the poor people, should come up in their life, improve their financial situation, and so that was the need of Gandhiji. And so Gandhiji was advocating about the importance of production by the mass, that is production by the people. So Gandhiji was always in favor of improving the financial condition of the people, not just by the few rich people who are able to start factory and company and buy machines and so on, but even the ordinary people. Gandhiji was standing for them. Gandhiji was interested in improving their financial condition as well. So that was the thought of Gandhiji, how he was thinking about the need for conserving the resources and how it will be beneficial to the society and so on. Now let us also see about some other people who were also having same idea about conserving the resources. So at the international level, the Club of Rome, so another society, Club of Rome. The Club of Rome, they were also having or advising others about the need for conserving resources. So they made a very first time in a more systematic way. So they were the first one to advocate or advise how to conserve the resources in a very systematic way, and they were advocating it in 1968. So in 1968 they were aware about the resource depletion and the need to conserve them, and so they tried to help the people, inform the people about the need for conservation and so on. Then subsequently in 1974, Gandhian philosophy was once again presented by Schumacher in his book. So another person, a philosopher called Schumacher. So a philosopher, a great thinker called Schumacher in 1974. He also was very much happy or taken up by the idea that Gandhiji gave, that instead of going for mass production, go for production by the mass. The production may be less, but everyone will be happy. So he wrote a book called Small is Beautiful. So nowadays in the market, the trend is the big is beautiful. Everybody is trying to make big house, big factory, big machine, and produce big things and so on. So everybody is aiming at big things and big profit, all that. But then Gandhiji, as we said, he always had the idea of bringing everyone up, small ones, poor ones, everyone should come up in their life. That was the idea of Gandhiji, and Gandhiji was supporting always that. So this Schumacher, the great philosopher, he wrote this book taking the idea of Gandhiji and wrote a book called Small is Beautiful. So you can underline what is the book of Schumacher. The book's name is Small is Beautiful. And the seminal contribution with respect to resource conservation of the global level was made by Brundtland Commission report in 1987. So in 1987, Brundtland Commission, they made a report about the need for conservation, and that was in 1987. So according to this report of this Brundtland Commission, what will they say? Sustainable development, the concept of sustainable development, and advocated it as a means of resource conservation, which was subsequently published in a book entitled Our Common Future. So they also published a book called Our Common Future. So in this book called Our Common Future, what are they advocating? They are advocating about the need for sustainable development. They say development should go on. If you finish up all the resources, then development cannot go on. Development will be at halt. It will be stopped. So instead of that, use the resources in a very what is needed in a very useful way, and stop misusing or overusing it, and keep it also for the future, so that development can go on in the future as well. And so they wrote in that book about the need for resource conservation, and also they publish the means of conservation. So just telling to everybody we have to conserve the resource is not enough. So they explain nicely how to conserve these resources. So they said the need for conserving resources, and also how to conserve, what are the methods we have to use, what are the means that we need to use. They were very clearly explaining, and the name of the book itself is Our Common Future. So the future belongs to us, all of us, not just few individuals, but it belongs to all of us. So if you want to have our future secure, what do we need to do? We need to conserve the resources, we need to use it very planned way, and then our future generation, our future life also will be secure. Then in the previous class we learned about there was an Earth Summit. All the leaders from 100 countries came together in Brazil at a place called Rio de Janeiro, and they had a meeting, and they also realized the need for conserving resources, and they suggested method how to do this conservation and so on. And there they realized the need for conservation, and they made a suggestion. Everybody accepted that there need to be conservation of resources, and they made the suggestion that let each country make a program plan. Let them make how are they planning to do the conservation. so on. So accordingly, they made a plan, and that will be later submitted to the UN assembly and so on. So that was in 1992. So people have been always thinking about the conservation of resources because it is so important. Nobody could say it is not so important, let it go on like this. So if you allow to let it go on like this, then our future will be at risk and we will not be able to carry on our development, and the future generation will suffer from all that is needed, all the development that is needed for them, and at the end they will blame the past generation. All of us will be blamed by the future generation. So that is the need of the present time, that we need to preserve our resources for the future purpose. We should stop wasting it, we should stop misusing it, we should stop overusing it, and we should not try to grab maximum for us to show our greediness, that I want more. So that attitude should be removed, the greediness, the selfishness, all that should be removed, and we should think about our common future, that whatever we have is not only just meant for few individuals of the present time, but it is meant for all the people of the present and the future as well. So that attitude, that understanding should be always there in our minds. Then only we will be able to really perform our daily activities of development in a normal way, in a planned way, so that the future generation will be grateful. They will be appreciating us that we have done well, so that they also can do well. So the example that we show at the present time, it will be done by the future generation as well, and they will also use the resources in a conserving way, and they will go on passing it on for the future generations. So we shall wind up for today, and thank you for listening. We will meet you again in the next class. Until then, have a nice day. Bye.